there are guys here in this class of 2016, and this is not going out on a limb. There are guys who are going to be stars.
Yeah.
There are guys who are going to become household names. Guys that people are going to be, they're going to know their names.
Yes.
And so I kind of flitted through the top prospects,
Busted out the tarot cards.
Campbell, flitted out, went through the Dave Campbell Presents Texas Football Rising, and picked out 5 prospects in the class of 2016 that I think have a possibility and that to be stars at the college level. Let's put it this way. I can't say for sure it's going to happen because there's no guarantees in life except death. But
taxes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I will say that I would be willing to buy stock in these guys.
Yep.
We're going to start,
okay,
and I'll tell you that a lot of this has to do with where they're presently committed because I think they can make an impact in that system. And we start with Kaden Smith, tight end for Flower Mound Marcus.
All right.
He is currently committed to Stanford.
Okay.
He's considered by some to be the best tight end in the nation. One of the best prospects in the state, 6'5", 235 pounds, and anybody who watched Marcus, whenever they would get in trouble, it would be throw it to him.
Yeah.
Throw it to him. And so it's not only that he's a great tight end, but he's also heading into a system. He's also heading into a system at Stanford where they are going to go to him a lot.
They haven't produced any good tight ends the last few years, have they?
Not
Zach
one.
Ertz.
Yeah.
He wasn't any good,
Not
was he?
one.
No.
So I think Caden Smith at Flower Mound Marcus could end up being a big-time playmaker at Stanford. Of course, not – hold on, let me look in the camera. Verbal commitments are non-binding. So he could flip, but right now he's considered a commit to Stanford.
For sure.
So I think that Caden Smith at Flower Mound Marcus, the tight end, has a chance to be a real star in college. We move on. And we're going to stay more local. A guy who's staying, who is presently committed to stay in-state. Justin Matabuke, the defensive end from McKinney North, who's heading to Texas A&M. I want you to think about who the stars on Texas A&M have been really in the Sumlin era. It's been largely defensive linemen.
Right.
Johnny
Manziel was a great defensive lineman. Absolutely great off the edge.
But who are the guys someone's have
so fast? Continue.
Myles Garrett, Deshaun Hall. You look at these guys, and they've become they're the best players on A&M. I don't think that's necessarily a controversial opinion. Nope. Justin Matabuke has the chance to be just as good as those guys, I think, and that's saying something about Myles Garrett, who was the #1 prospect in his class. 6'3", 250. He is a monster, and he can fly off the edge. A speed rusher who's got great upper body strength. I love the leverage that he plays with. He is just a pure burner off the edge, and he can overpower a lot of defense or offensive tackles. So I think Justin Matabuke could be a star, especially when you talk about the offenses he's going to face in the SEC, where if he can improve his run stopping just a little bit, he could become a real force in the SEC. And you talk about getting 4 years under John Chavis, that would be a huge, huge asset to him. So I think Justin Matabuke has a chance.
I think you're right. All the pieces are in the right place here.
Then we're going to move down Beaumont Way.
Ooh.
I will tell you about the first time I ever heard about Devois Whaley.
Oh, okay. Story time.
The Beaumont Central running back.
Okay.
This was 2 years ago, and we were doing Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football on Fox Sports Southwest, and that was when we were doing the show on location. Okay. And so in the playoffs, we did a game down in Beaumont, down at their big, beautiful stadium that I can't remember the name of it, but we did it down there, and it was a Beaumont Central game. And I was talking to the coaches at Central, and one of the coaches, I was talking to him like, yeah, you guys got a pretty good team. How you feeling about today? So he's like, yeah, we're feeling pretty good about today. He goes, but let me tell you something. We got this kid, and he's a sophomore. Name's Devois Whaley, and he is going to be a flat-out star.
Coaches know, man.
And he knew.
They know.
And I'll tell you, Devois Whaley has lived up to the hype.
They know early
on. He's put on weight since then. He's 210 pounds, and he is a track star. He can fly. And when you talk about a kid going to Arkansas, which is where he's presently committed, this is a kid who is going to get the ball. He's going to run the ball a lot, and I think he's going to make a very, very quick impact in Fayetteville. Devois Whaley is a superstar in the making. I'm pretty sure of it. That's where I'm at.
I think that's fair.
Then this is probably the one that is going to raise some eyebrows, okay? Because offensive linemen are very rarely household names. But J.P. Urquidez out of Copperas Cove is a tackle who's heading to Baylor. Mm-hmm. And Baylor has made a habit out of turning linemen into stars. You see Spencer Drango, who was, in my opinion, Baylor's best player for 3 years. He was incredible for them. All-American type guy. I think J.P. Urquidez is cut from that same cloth. I think he is a superstar in the making. I think he is going to be a mainstay on this Baylor offensive line. The way that he's played, he's so polished right now that even with just a little bit more polish, I think he can be a star. Already got a great frame at 6'6", 300. This is a kid I think could be a star for Baylor, which is weird to say considering he's an offensive lineman, but I think that J.P. Urquidez at Copperas Cove has a chance to make a big-time impact while he's at Baylor. And finally, we're going to switch over to the other side of the ball, and this is probably the one...
This one surprised me more than the last one, because at least Baylor is known at this point for churning out some mean linemen.
Yeah, that's fair. How about we go defense?
All right.
How about we go defensive linemen?
Uh-huh.
How about we go defensive lineman heading to Texas Tech?
Yeah, man.
Ivory Jackson, the defensive tackle.
This is out of left field.
The defensive tackle out of Amarillo. And this guy, I think, has come onto a lot of people's radars lately. But if you go talk to Mel Maxfield at Amarillo, he would have told you from the jump that this Ivory Jackson kid is a star. And I think that now that Tech is going to have what we believe to be some defensive coordinator stability, with David Gibbs staying at Tech, I think that's going to do wonders for their defense. And I think that Ivory Jackson is the kind of front seven player you can build off of.
Right.
He is strong.
And they need to.
He is
so there's
quick,
that for it.
And he is at defensive tackle, you need a kid who can get out and move as well, especially in the Big 12. You need to be able to rush the passer and stop the run. You need to be a complete defensive tackle to play in the Big 12 against the offenses you're going to see. I think Ivory Jackson, more kind of a local guy in Amarillo. It's only like 500 miles away from Lubbock, but
they claim them, though.
A West Texas guy.
Right.
I think he has a chance to make a big-time impact at Tech. I think he could be one of the tips of an improved defensive spear. For Texas Tech.
Well, and like I was saying earlier, they need the help, and sometimes that can be bad for development, but sometimes it can be good for development. And if he can be in there, even just as a playmaker, if he's not a 3-down guy yet, they need the help. And if he's got the talent, that could be pretty big for the Red Raiders.
That's what I think. I think that those guys with let's run Caden Smith at Flower Mound Marcus tight end. Justin Matabuke, the McKinney North defensive end. Devois Whaley, the running back at Beaumont Central. J.P. Urquidez, the offensive lineman coming out of Copperas Cove. And then Ivory Jackson coming out of Amarillo. I think that those guys could be stars at the college level. What do you think? Let us know. #DCTF Live. Who do we forget? We know you will. #DCTF Live.